Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. That's right, stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to Money Rules if you haven't already done so. We have tons of new newses and episodes all the time. I don't know if you've ever heard it's not even a theory, it just kind of is what it is. Bitcoin is either worth nothing or it's worth everything. Right. There's no real in between. Either Bitcoin has an immense amount of value or is the worst thing that we've ever seen on this planet and no one actually needs it and it's not going to help anyone. Obviously, Bitcoin is very useful. Obviously, Bitcoin adoption is hopefully going to continue among retail investors, everyday normal people who would obviously benefit from Bitcoin hitting multiple millions of dollars per coin. We don't really have to cross our fingers for the institutions because they've all but announced multiple times that they think that Bitcoin is going to several $1 million, and the valuations of a lot of cryptocurrency companies are expected to explode into the billions of dollars, if not low trillions, in the next couple of years. The thing that is quite troublingly interesting right now in the crypto space, you might have seen it every now and again, is this idea of Bitcoin becoming boring. Bitcoin having less volatility. The idea of Bitcoin not being boring revolves around Bitcoin having 15% movement up, 8% movement down, 27% up, 47% down. If you're a day trader, it's an enormously fantastic way to make money because you're all just kind of anticipating that at some point there's going to be a big drop in price. However, when it doesn't have these movements, as you've seen, except for the one like a couple weeks ago, but that's besides the point, that was heavy manipulation. Normal movements for Bitcoin have kind of become standard to be around 1 to 2% movement. Some days we see like a 2.5% movement. But as Bitcoin's price goes higher, this volatility will like dampen even further. And basically, it's kind of like the idea if Bitcoin goes up by, 10,000, that's a huge movement right now. If Bitcoin's at 1 million and goes up by 10,000, that's like a fragment of something. You barely see it actually register on the chart. As more institutions get into this space, as more big money piles into the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market, this is why we've also been seeing, if you've missed it, the amount of news around Bitcoin staking and Bitcoin yield. It's because the big money that was made before by these companies and institutions trading Bitcoin has kind of really lowered itself. The greed, the movements that we have now only make these companies, several $1 million per week, as opposed to the hundreds of millions that they could have made off of the volatile movements. And this is where the yield aspect keeps coming in. Recently in the news, Michael Saylor back again has last summer, if you missed it, he was the first person to call Bitcoin boring. And now it's becoming like more of a trend. This idea of Bitcoin becoming something similar to gold, something similar to real estate, something similar to the stock market. There are certain days where things can get quite dramatic, or we can see like extra movements upward. But even if you look at like a bad day for the NASDAQ or the S&P 500, many times you'll look and you'll see like prices are down by 0.4%. And you're like, what is everyone screaming about? Or like maybe things went down by 1.1% over the course of the week and everyone's panicking because that's such a huge drop. This is basically what Bitcoin is becoming. He discussed the idea of thrill-seeking retail investors, the normal people who get into the market, who want to make big gains, are basically, and this is probably what's going to happen, they're going to start stepping back from the cryptocurrency market, much to my annoyance. People have kind of just given up the cryptocurrency market to rich people. Not that I was expecting much of a monetary fight, if you will, but crypto is for the people. Crypto is for the masses. Things don't succeed unless normal people actually have them. There is, of course, a cohort of wealthy people who are going to absorb and control and own the cryptocurrency market. But at a certain point, when you own everything, it has no value because Bitcoin and crypto are meant to be used and pushed around and have all these other things actually done with them. Michael Saylor is also quite popular for his time frames within this market. He's famous for talking about where he thinks Bitcoin's price is going to be in like 2042 and 2047, and Bitcoin's going to be worth $38 million and all these other types of things. He's now describing and saying that we've entered into a brand new ecosystem. He said what's happening now from 2025 until 2035 is going to be a brand new digital gold rush. He's predicting that a lot of different companies around the world are going to begin to emerge and completely change how they do business. The idea of simply making shoes, making clothing, making jewelry will begin to disappear as these companies throw themselves nearly exclusively at the cryptocurrency market, essentially because the money that they would make from crypto far eclipses any kind of money that they could have made buying up another factory and trying to make another 300,000 sneakers over the course of a year. He said that this is reflecting the chaos that we're currently seeing in financial markets, and it actually shows no signs of slowing down. Bitcoin is either going to $0 or Bitcoin is going to several $million. There's really no in between. That's just kind of the way that things are going to be. I think the most interesting and shocking part for a lot of people is actually going to be seeing Bitcoin succeed in whatever capacity that might actually mean. Have you ever seen the I think they're called like I think they're Bitcoin obituaries. I think that's what they are. It's basically, there are a couple of websites, but there's one famous one where for the past 15 years, there have been hundreds of articles written about Bitcoin's demise and Bitcoin's not going to make it and no one's using Bitcoin. And they've all been proven wrong. So either the world collectively decides that Bitcoin is garbage and no one wants to use crypto at all, which seems incredibly unlikely, or we continue seeing 30,000 new addresses per day. We keep seeing institutions buying more Bitcoin, and we see Bitcoin get thrown into the millions of dollars per US dollars as the US dollar begins to crumble and fall. The last decade of between this channel and the other channel have been really weird. I know I've mentioned that before, and I'm sure it has been for a lot of you as well. This thing was kind of like a fantasy almost, like this new age of technology taking over the world and everyone building on blockchain and using Bitcoin and buying Bitcoin and mining Bitcoin. And now we're here. Now we're seeing it in real time. The other part of it, the other part of the equation is, if you've remembered, you should have, all of these people, the Michael Saylors and the Novogratses and the Larry Finks, are all projecting that in the next 4.5 years, the Bitcoin's going to basically have taken over. I can't imagine what 2035 is going to look like. All of this has happened in a 1.5 years since we got the Bitcoin ETFs. Imagine another 9 years after this. I think it's going to get pretty crazy. Yeah, there's more and more boring Bitcoin news all the time. I mean, it's like the new thing. Everyone's like, Bitcoin's going to become boring. I don't know if that's to prepare us for like slower, longer movements in price. The idea being that we just slowly tick up all the time as opposed to any dramatic kinds of movements. But yeah, apparently Bitcoin's about to get a lot more boring. I do sincerely hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.